An Oklahoma judge recently issued a significant ruling concerning a death row inmate. The court determined that the individual was not competent to be executed under state law. This decision halts the immediate progression towards the death penalty for the inmate in question. The ruling was handed down by Pittsburg County Judge Michael Hogan. Judge Hogan presided over the legal proceedings that evaluated the inmate's current mental state. His judgment is a critical step in the inmate's ongoing legal challenges. The inmate at the center of this ruling is identified as James Ryder. Ryder is reported to be either 61 or 62 years of age. His case has been under scrutiny for many years within the state's correctional system. The judge's decision followed a formal competency hearing. During this hearing, evidence and testimony were presented to the court regarding Ryder's mental condition. The hearing is a standard legal mechanism for evaluating a defendant's capacity. The court found Ryder incompetent based on a specific legal standard. The ruling stated that incompetence was established by a preponderance of the evidence. This means the evidence presented made it more likely than not that Ryder lacked the required competency. The ruling was issued specifically under state law governing competency for execution. Oklahoma statutes outline the criteria and process for determining if a condemned inmate possesses the necessary understanding to face execution. Judge Hogan applied these specific legal provisions. Judge Hogan commented on the nature of Ryder's thought processes during the ruling. He stated that the court could discuss Ryder's irrational thoughts ad nauseum. However, he emphasized that such extensive discussion was not necessary to support the finding of incompetence. This ruling follows a previous legal action that temporarily halted Ryder's execution. In December, the Court of Criminal Appeals had issued a stay of execution. That stay provided the necessary time for the competency evaluation to take place. The Court of Criminal Appeals ordered the stay because Ryder had raised substantial doubt as to his competency to be executed. This initial doubt triggered the formal legal process to assess his mental fitness. The recent ruling confirms the validity of that doubt. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. The court's finding of incompetence was heavily based on expert testimony. Expert witnesses presented evidence that Ryder suffers from a severe mental illness. Their professional opinions were crucial to the court's understanding of his condition. The specific diagnosis identified by experts was a psychotic disorder. More precisely, the diagnosis pointed towards schizophrenia. This is a chronic and severe mental disorder that affects how a person thinks, feels, and behaves. Experts testified that Ryder has little connection to objective reality. This assessment highlights the profound impact of his illness on his perception of the world. His understanding is significantly distorted by his psychiatric condition. Ryder's attorney provided context regarding the progression of his illness. The attorney noted that Ryder's mental condition has deteriorated significantly over the years of his incarceration. Long-term confinement can sometimes exacerbate pre-existing mental health issues. The court order itself emphasizes Ryder's irrational thought processes as a key factor. The judge's findings detailed specific examples of his delusional beliefs. These examples illustrate the extent of his break from reality. One specific delusion cited involves his understanding of execution. Ryder believes that execution will only kill his physical body. He maintains that his soul will subsequently inhabit a superior alien form. Another specific delusion involves his perception of the global population. Ryder believes he is likely the only heterosexual male on Earth. This belief is a clear manifestation of disordered thinking and grandiosity. A further delusion concerns the future of the United States government. Ryder believes that the U.S. government will inevitably collapse. This belief shapes his perspective on his own situation and future. Links to the belief in government collapse is another specific delusion. Ryder believes that this collapse will allow him to travel to Russia. There, he believes he has a duty to fulfill by raising a heterosexual son. Prison records provided extensive documentation supporting the expert testimony. These records document over 20 years of observed hallucinations. This history indicates a long-standing and persistent psychotic condition. The prison records also document troubling behaviors exhibited by Ryder. These behaviors include hoarding items and eating rotten food. They also detail a significant neglect of personal hygiene, consistent with severe mental deterioration. The legal standard for competency to be executed is derived from the U.S. Supreme Court. The standard dictates that an inmate is incompetent if they lack a rational understanding of the reason for their execution. This is distinct from merely knowing they are scheduled to die. Ryder's attorney argued that his client did not meet this standard. The attorney stated that Ryder has no rational understanding of why Oklahoma plans to execute him. His delusional beliefs prevent him from grasping the connection between his crime and the punishment. A finding of incompetence for execution does not automatically mean the inmate will never be executed. It means they cannot be executed while they remain in their current state of incompetence. The legal process is paused, not necessarily terminated permanently. The possibility of restoring competency in such cases raises significant ethical and practical concerns. This process typically involves involuntary medication to treat the severe mental illness. The goal is to make the inmate legally competent to be executed. For prisoners diagnosed with severe mental disorders like schizophrenia, periods of lucidity are often the exception rather than the rule. Their condition is typically chronic and may not be fully remediable, especially after decades of illness. Sustained rational understanding can be difficult to achieve. The American Medical Association's Code of Medical Ethics addresses physician involvement in executions. The code explicitly prohibits physician participation in executions. This stance is based on the fundamental ethical principles of the medical profession. The AMA Code specifically prohibits treating incompetent inmates with the goal of restoring competency for execution. This is viewed as a perversion of medical practice. Medicine is intended to heal and alleviate suffering, not facilitate state-sponsored death. The AMA Code affirms that the medical profession is dedicated to preserving life when there is hope. Treating someone solely to make them eligible for execution conflicts directly with this core principle. It presents a profound ethical dilemma for healthcare providers. Following the ruling, Ryder's attorney made a public statement. The attorney urged the state to cease further execution efforts. This plea was based on Ryder's worsening mental condition and the ethical implications of attempting to restore competency. The state, represented by the Attorney General's spokesperson, offered a different perspective. The spokesperson argued for Ryder's competency despite the judge's ruling. They also stated that Oklahoma will continue working to restore competency, suggesting a potential appeal or future action. Even individuals directly involved in supervising Ryder have expressed concerns. The warden supervising Ryder, Jim Ferris, noted his observations of the inmate. Warden Ferris stated that Ryder may have become insane during his incarceration, reflecting a non-legal assessment of his mental state.